Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
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 Yeah, so today we'll discuss three topics, which is the tropical cyclones, and another is the extratropical cyclones and the disaster, all right? And we'll wind up with our geography class. So, do you have any question with regard to geography class so far? All right, if that is not the case, then all right, I think I'm not sharing the screen, nah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So, so guys, this is the tropical cyclones. This is a class on tropical cyclones. So today we'll discuss on tropical cyclones and extra tropical cyclones. Okay, tropical cyclones, right? So, this is the America, the Greenland, then the Africa, India, Russia. Okay, Russia, then the case, what is this? The Australia and the South America. So here there is in the Bay of Bengal or in the Indian Ocean there is a cyclone. Then in the South China Sea there is a cyclone. All right, there is a cyclone. Then in the South America there is a cyclone, and in the North America there is a cyclone. So all over the ocean around the landmass there is a cyclone. So as we all know, cyclone occurs only in the ocean. Okay, it doesn't occur in the land. All right. Okay, so cyclones occurs only in the ocean. So the first thing we need to remember is tropical cyclones originates over the origin. Let's see, origin, all right? So the first thing we need to remember is that the tropical cyclones originates over the ocean, all right, in tropical areas and coastal region, all right? Tropical cyclone originates over ocean in tropical areas and coastal region. And it is the region near the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. All right. So yesterday we have made a map like this now. So what is this line? It is 0 degree, which is the equator, right? No.
Yes, sir.
So this is the 23 degree, which is the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer, and this is the Tropic of Capricorn. So I told you yesterday, when you write something on geography, always try to draw a map, okay, so that it gives the perfect representation and easy representation to the examiners, all right? Because without the diagrams and maps, now it's really difficult to understand the geography. But with diagrams and maps, it becomes very easy to understand, all right? So this is the northern hemisphere, and this is the southern hemisphere, all right? So it is the region near the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. So basically, it originates over ocean in the tropical areas and coastal coastal region in the Tropic of Cancer in northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. All right. So they are known by different names in different region. Did you know that cyclones have different names in different region?
Yes, sir.
All right, so name them, please. What is it?
Typhoon.
Huh?
Typhoon.
Typhoon is where? Which area?
And
South Asia.
Yeah, in the South China Sea, they are known as typhoon. Nah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and in India, what is it known as?
Cyclone.
Yes, very good. And in America, North America,
Hurricane.
hurricane. Yeah, and in South America,
tornado.
Tornado. I don't know. Even me, I forgot the name of cyclone in South America, but I'm sure it's not tornado. All right, then Australia.
Woody.
Yeah. So these things it won't be liquidated when you write the answer. Now just write it. They are known by different names by different region, and you try to draw a map like this. All right. So we have got two maps now that tropical cyclones occurs in the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn in the ocean and coastal region. So we have studied that tropical region received the most solar radiation yesterday. No. So the other part of the area, like the temperate region and polar region, they receive less. They receive less the sunlight. However, the tropic of the equatorial region as well as the tropical region receives more radiation. No.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, so because of the receiving of more radiation in this area, there is a low pressure zone. Okay, there is a low pressure zone. Whereas in a low pressure zone, there is always a warm wind. Okay, warm wind as a. And in the temperate region or the polar region, there is a high pressure zone. Hence, the winds are cold. Okay, so as we have discussed yesterday, that the winds flow from high pressure zone to low pressure zone. Nah. No.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, so see the one of the reason that the cyclones occurs a lot in the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn is the receiving a lot of maximum receiving of the radiation. So this is also one of the reason. Okay, so sun rays is also where it also plays an important role in the formation of tropical cyclones. All right. So at the same time, at the same time with the solar radiation, it is supplemented by wind movement. Nah? So the wind movement is determined by low pressure and high pressures. We have studied the high pressure. There is the wind travels from high pressure to low pressure all the time. High pressure belt to low pressure belt. So it is difference in atmospheric pressure that creates pressure gradient and wind move. And winds always blow from high pressure to low pressure zone. Okay. So what causes low pressure and high pressure? Nah? What causes low pressure and okay? So what causes low pressure and high pressure? Low pressure occurs when air is warm. Nah? So air is warm lagate low pressure take, which means the equatorial region in the Tropic of Cancer, yet warm air handu warm take, which means there is always a low pressure in the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and equatorial region. All right, it is simple as na. When occurs when low pressure occurs when the air is warm, either over a warm land or ocean surface. Okay, so first we will discuss in details like this, and later on I will discuss how to answer what is a tropical cyclones, how it affects India or anything. Okay, but before that we need to understand the basic things to understand the tropical cyclones and extratropical cyclones. Now, so these two questions are very important because it has been repeating for quite a few years. What is extratropical cyclones, what is tropical cyclones for 10 and 20 marks now. So we ought to know the basic things about the tropical cyclones, the wind pressure, the gradient, the Coriolis force, the insolent radiation. Na? Ito ang pura dyan yung lagi. All right, so what causes low pressure? Low pressure occurs when air is warm, either over a warm land or ocean surface. All right. So as easy as it kilo warm air hoy jay, kilo warm land hoy jay because of the receiving of insolation. Na? What is insolation? It is the another word of the incoming solar radiation. Okay, so insolation, in other words, is known as the incoming solar radiation. All right. So that is why tropical cyclone is a perfect place where low pressure occur. Nah? Tropical region. Nah? So that is why tropical region is a perfect place where low pressure occurs there. Ito ada easy generation na. Tropical region dito, as the warm air is warm, low pressure occurs na. No, hey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So similarly here, as you can see, the high pressure it is anti-clockwise to the low pressure. Okay. So similarly, high pressure occurs when the cool air. Okay, when air is cool. No. Similarly, high pressure. Okay. High pressure occur when air is cool, either over a cool surface or ocean, cool land surface or ocean surface. That is why over the North Pole and South Pole, it is a high pressure. Nah? It was a, so this area is have a high pressure belt. Nah? High pressure belt, and this is high pressure belt. Okay. So always remember that when the wind travels now, it travels from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, high pressure to low pressure. So yateki karne high pressure thagese. I have just explained. Can you just tell me why is there a high pressure in the temperate areas and into polar region?
Because the wind is cold.
Insulation.
Yeah. See, the first reason is it receives less insolation, which is the radiation, which makes the area cold. Now, which means the air is cold. Hence, the high pressure is formed. Now, itu generation na. So why do we study the high pressure and low pressure? Is see, we need to remember that we need to remember that uh, high pressure, okay, high pressure uh, travels to low pressure. Nah, winds always okay. Itu hodai janyo lagi. Winds always blow from high pressure to low pressure. Okay. Itu janine thayo lagi. Then when it comes to tropical cyclones or extratropical cyclones, now we need to remember that winds always blow from high pressure to low pressure. Okay. So another phenomenon which affects the wind's movement is the Coriolis force. Nah? Yesterday we have studied about the Coriolis force. Nah?
Yes.
So in the northern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere, yaitu northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So as the winds blow from high pressure to low pressure, it gets deflected towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the east in the southern hemisphere. There. Sorry, in the northern hemisphere. So this is because the deflection of these winds is due to the Coriolis force. All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the Coriolis force, due to the Coriolis force, the winds gets deflected towards the right in the southern hemisphere and towards the left in the northern hemisphere, and this is because of the Coriolis force. So another factors which affects the wind movement phenomenon, the wind movement is the Coriolis force, Coriolis force there. So due to the rotation of the Earth rotates from the Earth rotates from east to west or west to east. Ini ka kure.
West to east.
Yeah. So west to east, this question sometimes it also asks in the exam whether the Earth rotates from west to east, west to east. Okay. So sorry, it will be ijanin thakibo lage because Coriolis force due to this rotation, the force is generated parallel to the direction of rotation. Okay, so Coriolis force to CS we studied that the Coriolis force Coriolis force is generated in parallel to the direction of rotation. Now, it is also important to know that the Earth rotates from west to east, which means the Coriolis force is also blowing from west to east. Now, which what is this which itu diverts, no? Which diverts the wind direction, okay? Wind direction which is traveling from high pressure to low pressure, na? Itu karena itu kudia there. So we also need to flip, okay? We need to flip this one because the Coriolis force direction will be different from the in the southern hemisphere, okay? Because in the northern west eastern hemisphere it is blowing parallel to the itu rotational position, no? Parallel to the rotational direction, which is from west to east. In the southern hemisphere, it may be from east to west. Okay, ini ko ho pare de. So Coriolis force laga direction me janyo lagi. Okay, so during the spinning of the Earth, the speed of surface is faster in the equator than the pole. Hence, anything has to come from the pole towards the equator, it gets deflected to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. Na? Na? Because of the rotation of the Earth, okay, because of the rotation of the Earth, we have studied before that the Coriolis force travels parallel to the direction of the rotation of the Earth, which means from the west to east, all right? But for the northern hemisphere, it is this one, but in the southern hemisphere, all right? So it gets deflected to the right, all right, in the northern hemisphere and gets deflected to the north, to the left in the southern hemisphere, which means, okay, see, actually, this is, sorry, to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. All right. So this is one of the factor which affects the wind movement is the Coriolis force. All right. It will be we'll discuss why this Coriolis force, the solar radiation, and wind movement from high pressure to low pressure are important. Not because we are studying the tropical cyclones. All right. So before we study the tropical cyclones, we need to know the wind movement because everything about tropical cyclones is all about wind circulation and wind movement. Okay. So how does all right. So how does the tropical cyclones form? All right. So if we, as we have studied before that, the winds blow from high pressure to low pressure. Okay. So this is the high pressure, and from high pressure, the wind are cold, no? Cold wind, cool wind, and from the low pressure to into the this is the low pressure there. This is the low pressure area. In the low pressure area, the wind are warm. All right. So as it travels from poles from high pressure to low pressure belt, now it okay. So this is the horizontal view of no vertical view of the cyclone. Okay. So this is the cold wind, cool sorry warm wind, and this is the cold wind. Okay. Cool wind. Now, so yesterday we have studied that as the area gets warm, land breeze and sea breeze there, it gets warm halka ho jai na. Anything which is which gets warm halka ho jai na.
Yes,
No,
sir.
yeah, ekta not a parachute, but ekta ki thagile. There used to be a parachute like this, and then there will be a fire here, and people will be traveling here. Huh?
Hot
Water balloon.
Yeah. So water balloon is also like that, okay? Because there is a fire here. Nah, it warms the air, and then as air gets warm, it expands. Then, as air gets warm, it expands. Now, as it expands, uh, it becomes light. Nah, no, light. Laga spelling thick as well. I cannot describe. Yeah. Anyway, warm. See, itu lagabi ini kahi kuride. So, as there will be a fire here na. Aro iti bichi itu it lights the it warms the air here, and the air, as the air gets warm, it gets expanded and it becomes light. Okay, hence this itu urian na ini okurede. So even for the tropical cyclone, it is same. Okay, it is same there, because see, as this area has a warm air because of low pressure, warm air because of low pressure. So we are talking about the tropical area there. This region is the tropical area, so as the air travels from high pressure to low pressure, as the air travels to high pressure to low pressure, the warm air rises, the warm air rises. So to fill the void, as the cool air comes to fill the void, it creates a circulation of air. It creates a circulation of air. So it keeps like that. It creates a circulation of air like this. Okay. So this area, warm air, where it is surrounded by the cold air, is known as the eye. Okay. The center of the tropical cyclone is known as the eye. All right. So low pressure attracts cool air. All right. Low pressure attracts cool air. Low pressure attracts cool air. Ito all of idea payas na. So this is the warm air, warm air, and this area is the warm air, and this area is low pressure. And as I have said now, that low pressure attracts low pressure attracts cool air there. So as the wind travels, okay, or cool air, low pressure cool air attracts cool air. So as it travels from high pressure to low pressure, the warm air rises and the cool air comes in to fill the voids. The warm air rises and the cool air rushes to fill the void. This phenomenon creates a circulation of air. This phenomenon creates a circulation of air. The low pressure region is a warm region where the air is warm, which expands and then rises. It was there. So this is the ocean. This is the ocean. So this is the warm air there. Warm air. And then the cool air are coming from high pressure to low pressure. As it encounters with the warm air, it creates a circulation of wind. So this warm air, as you can see, this warm air, it rises up. Okay, as it gets expanded, it rises up, and then as it rises up, okay, as it rises up, because of the latitude, because of because of the altitude, as you go up, ठंडा हो जाए ना, the temperature gets cold and then it comes down again. Okay, it comes down again. So a round of circulation where the warm air goes up and the cold air comes into play, and then it gets on the continuous circulation. Okay, so this causes the formation of cyclone. Ida buji na nai.
Yes, sir.
Now here, okay, here the Coriolis force also comes into play. Okay, Coriolis force also comes into play. Now, again, the Coriolis force, the cool air from low pressure gets deflected. All right, because of the Coriolis force, okay. Because of the Coriolis force, the cool air gets deflected. No, the cool air from low pressure gets deflected. At the same time, cool air keeps getting attracted towards the center. Okay, so Coriolis force is also one of the reasons where which leads to the formation of cyclones, where because of the Coriolis force, the cool air gets the cool air from low pressure gets deflected, and at the same time, cool air keeps getting attracted towards the center. Now, cool air keeps getting attracted towards the center, as you can see here. Okay, so this is all about the simple explanation of tropical cyclones, where the cool air keeps getting towards attracted towards the center, which is the warm air, where the warm air rises, and then warm air gets expanded as it rises, and as it reaches the high altitude, it gets cooled and comes down again. And as a result, a spinning of air causes a cyclone in a clockwise direction. Okay, so as it travels, okay, so these cyclones, all right, these cyclones, as it travels, it crosses the coast. No? Those cyclones originates in the majorly it originates in the ocean, but as it crosses as it crosses, as it crosses the coast, it is known as the landfall of the surface, because the the moisture in as it crosses the coast, as it reaches the land surface now, it is known as the landfall of the surface. Okay, because the moisture is cut off, so this is known as the landfall of the surface. All right, so sometimes a question may also be asked, what is a landfall of the surface? Okay, so for 2 marks though, when a tropical cyclones crosses the coast, it is known as the landfall of the surface, because the moisture is cut off. Hence, the cyclone subsided because of the lessen of the moisture. Now, so average diameter. Okay, average diameter. It will be important as well. So average diameter of the tropical cyclones is around 150 to 250 kilometer. However, in the Arabian Sea, okay, in the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, the Bay of Bengal, it is the average diameter is very big. One of the biggest tropical cyclones occurs in Arabian Sea of Bay of Bengal. Okay, so the average diameter is only 150 to 250 kilometer, but in Arabian Sea of Bay of Bengal, it is around 1,200 kilometer. Okay, 600 kilometer to 1,200 kilometer, and the average speed of the tropical cyclones is between 300 kilometer to 500 kilometer. Okay, 500 kilometer. So it extends up to the troposphere, up to the altitude, altitude extends. Okay, altitude extends. It extends up to the troposphere. No? So as the warm moves higher, the temperature decreases, hence the warm air gets cooled and then descends. This causes the storm. All right. So this is only thing. This is the thing about the tropical cyclones. Now, so tropical cyclones at the time of maximum radiation. Okay, tropical cyclones occurs at the time of maximum radiation. So in the summer, in the northern hemisphere, it is between July to October in the northern hemisphere, whereas in the southern hemisphere, it occurs during autumn between December to March. Itu ya saya there. So tropical cyclone occurs at a time of maximum radiation. In summer, in the northern hemisphere, it is between July and October, and in the southern hemisphere, it is in the autumn, which is between December and March. All right. So let's discuss. Let's go and see what is there. All right. So here it is a Drishti IS there. Drishti IS laga. Why in news? Na? Why in news? In the year 2020, Cyclone Amphan, all right, pronounced as Umpan, formed over Bay of Bengal, intensified and turned into a super cyclonic storm. The second super cyclone since 1999. In another incident, Mumbai has been hit by a Cyclone Nisarga, after a gap of 129 years. All right. So when you write something about anything about the GS paper 2 or essay, always try to put examples of the recent events. Now that is why I told you to give importance to reports and indices. Now this like 2020 laga reports of Amphan, Nahalibi cyclone Nisarga Pura reports and indices there power. Okay. So here as you can see, can you see my screen? Now introduction.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so cyclones are rapid inward air circulation around a low pressure area. No? The air circulates in an anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. So cyclones are usually accompanied by violent storms and bad weather. The word cyclone is derived from the Greek word cyclos, meaning the coils of a snake, not necessary. It was coined by Henry Paddington because the tropical storm. It not necessary na hoide. So classification, there are two types of cyclones: the tropical cyclones and the extra tropical cyclones. Okay, so also called temperate cyclones or mid latitude cyclones or the frontal cyclones or wave cyclones. Okay, so I will explain to you what is extra tropical cyclones. Okay, it is another name of tropical cyclones only, except it occurs in the different latitude. All right. Then the World Meteorological Organization uses the term tropical cyclones to cover weather system in which winds exceed gale force minimum of 63 per hour. Na? So you might want to remember the word gale force. Na? They may also ask which of the following is true with regard to gale force. Now we may think it's a physics, na, but it's a geographical term. Okay. So to me, the gale force is also a new term to me. Now I might have studied before, but I forgot. So it may also be important for GS paper two mark 2 marks and so on, or GS paper. I mean, prelims question. Okay, so what is the gale force? You might want to remember this one. So tropical cyclones develop in the region between Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer. They are large-scale weather systems developing over tropical or tropical subtropical waters, where they get organized into surface and wind circulation. Okay, so your extra tropical cyclones occur in temperate zones and high latitude regions, though they are known as to originate in the polar regions. Okay, so anticyclones ito na puro kam na. Now, tropical cyclones, they put there. So, tropical cyclones, look at the fourth point, okay? Tropical cyclones originate and intensify over warm tropical oceans. The conditions favorable for the formation and intensification of tropical storms are large sea surface with temperature higher than 27 degrees Celsius. Now, as we have studied that it occurs at the maximum during the time of maximum radiation. Now, okay, so presence of Coriolis force, are you getting the sense, are you getting it now or now? Otherwise, now, if we study directly what is tropical cyclones without studying the wind pressure, the gradient pressure, the Coriolis force, and the wind movement and the pattern, we wouldn't understand what is written here, okay, in the book. But can you see now that the large sea surface with temperature higher than 27 degrees Celsius, we discussed before that tropical cyclones occurs at the time of maximum radiation, huh? No, hi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is why it occurs in northern hemisphere in the summer between July and October, and in the southern hemisphere during the autumn in December and March, because in the southern hemisphere, autumn is the equivalent to summer in the northern hemisphere. Na? So large sea surface temperature with higher temperature higher than 27 degrees Celsius. It will be one of the factors we have studied. Then we have also studied the presence of Coriolis force. Because of the Coriolis force, the winds get deflected towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. Now, so because of the deflection of that winds, it creates a spinning of air, spinning of air. Okay, so small variations in the vertical wind speed, a pre-existing low weak pressure area or low level cyclonic circulation, upper divergence above the sea level system. So stages of formation of tropical cyclones. So formation and developing stage. The formation and development of a cyclonic storm depends upon the transfer of water, vapor, and heat, and form warm ocean to the overlying air primarily by evaporation from the sea surface. Okay, so see formation and the initial development stage now ito hando even if we study this one na I wouldn't understand anything. I don't know about you, even for me na I wouldn't understand anything. And then see the formation has a many stages like initial development stage as a mature stage as a modification and decay stage as na. So moito ito hando purana de moito ito hando purana, and then it's very hard for me. See, you go through the mature stage, second point. Okay, with the inducement of subsidence, air warms up by compression and a warm eye, low pressure center is generated. The main physical feature of major tropical cyclone in the Indian Ocean is a concentric pattern of highly turbulent giant cumulus thunderclouds bands. Ito ang napinan dyan yung pareho.
No,
Ha.
sir. No, sir.
Na? Yeah, so the little explanation which I have made in such a way that it's very easy to understand. Okay, although my explanation was not that up to the expectation, but I hope you at least learn something about the how tropical cyclones originates, what are the wind patterns, now, which are the forces which affects the wind direction, the wind deflection, and finally led to the formation of tropical cyclones. I love to Janish na I get it laga explanation there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So itu all of to Janice you try to make a simple notes on tropical cyclones and extra tropical cyclones. Okay. Once you have a good notes of tropical cyclones, now extra tropical cyclones though it's only same with tropical cyclones. Why extra tropical cyclones is that it occur in different latitudes. Okay, different latitudes, which is why it is called extra tropical cyclones. All right. Why is the name tropical cyclones?
It occurs in tropical area.
Yeah, so it occurs in tropical areas, hence the name tropical cyclones. Extratropical cyclones, also known as temperate cyclones or latitude cyclones, because mid-latitude, because it is beyond the tropical. It is happening beyond the tropical cyclones. Okay, so everything is same. I will just show you one diagram. Okay, I will just show you one diagram, and it's over there for the extratropical cyclones. So see, as you can see, the formation stage. Initial development stage, mature stage, modification, decay na magkano ito amin na bujo. And as you can see the diagrams na, the diagrams to bujo pa rin na nayap niyan. So here the diagram B all of to yatibi bujo pa rin na. No. So as you can see in the center, can you see the eye?
Yes, sir.
Na, so this area of the eye is the warm air circulation. Okay, and surrounding the eye all the airs are cold. Okay, cool air. And see, as the warm air gets warm, it gets expanded and flows up. No, it gets deflected and flows up. All right, gets deflected and travels up, and then the cool air rushes in to fill the void. This rushing to fill the void creates a spinning of air circulation, which is known as the tropical cyclones in the tropical region. Okay, it will say so. This nomenclature of tropical cyclones it will be come nice. So cycle as you can see, funny and unfun. Funny and unfun. Can you see the two cyclones written in red, funny and unfun?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I don't remember the Hutu, Titli, Petai, Vayu, na. But funny and unfun, I remember last time around in 2018 or 2019. I think it also occurred in 2021 where it hit the itu Orissa and West Bengal coast, na. Itu ando janimo lagi kilimane funny and unfun. It created a lot of destruction, whether people's lives or destruction of properties, na. So those things, when you write about the tropical cyclones, you also study the positive and negative impact. Okay, there is still a positive impact in some way or the other. Nah, kita about the positive impact with there. So negative impact was you can always make out in 2020 cyclone Fani caused a loss of destruction. Nah, caused a loss, economic loss up to the tune of 50 billion or 50 crore, right, as per Times News report or as per Chief Minister's report in Abiko pare na it was it. So as you can see here, worldwide terminologies of tropical cyclones na hurricanes in the West Indians, tornadoes in West Africa. Oh yeah, tornadoes. Tornadoes to West Africa. Yeah. One guy who said tornadoes in the South America. So South America is to the west of Africa. Okay. So yes, very true. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So Willis in the Australia and tropical cyclones in the northeastern regions. All right. So as you can see here, when you draw a map of the cyclones, now don't just write about the Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea, but draw a map like this. Okay. And uh, 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 as you can see. mm Yeah, so tropical cyclones occur in different areas, and as you can see in the South China Sea, it is known as typhoons, and tropical cyclones, hurricanes in the North America, and Willis in Australia. Okay, so this is the distribution of cyclones in tropical region. Okay, this distribution of cyclones in tropical region. Now the extra tropical cyclone. Okay, extra tropical cyclone has equal to wait, I'll show you one thing. Can you see the fronts here? Fronts. Fronts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is also important again. See, we have studied before that the high pressure, a high winds always blow from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, so when winds blow from high pressure winds are cold winds and low pressure winds are warm wind. So as they meet each other, okay, this area is known as the fronts. Okay, here as you can see, when two different air masses having distinctly different properties meet, the boundary zone between them is called front. Now, you don't have to study. There are four types of front: stationary front, cold front, warm front, included front. Na ito ang occluded front. Na ito ang genuinely come now. Let me just note that when the two different air masses meet, okay, the boundary zone between them is called a front. Okay, so you may be some people now without understanding the high pressure and low pressure, warm air and low air. Na people get confused. What is this kind of two air masses? Na air masses be different again. Okay, so which means when two different air masses collide, it refers to warm air and low air. Okay, so warm air though it is in the low pressure zone in the equatorial and tropical region, whereas the cold air occurs from the high pressure zone from the polar region. All right, so when the two air masses meets, the boundary zone is called the front. Have you ever heard of the word front before? Ah,
No, for me.
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We are all learning. Okay, we are all learning. Even I have never heard of the France before, so I think I have not even come across the word France in the insert book. But as I was preparing for the cyclones, I came to realize that France is a very important word. Okay, so it may also be asked for 2 marks question, or it may also what you need to remember about. The tropical cyclones is the eye and the front, nah? The eye and the front, and you only need to remember that the winds blow from high pressure to low pressure there. Although it will important as well. Once you master the idea that the high pressure blows from low pressure na itu ya se the warm air cool air kan mix kura to it creates a cyclone na because of the spinning of air circulation from cold air to warm air na itu ya se to cyclone to if you study this one na it's too technical and too difficult to understand, okay, but with the little explanation, the simple explanation I've made, I think I've made justice to this tropical cyclones explanation. So as you can see here, the tropical cyclones in India. So tropical cyclones in India originate over the Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and Indian Ocean. These tropical cyclones have very high wind velocity and heavy rainfall, and it hit the Indian coastal states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Odisha, and Gujarat. So these 5 states are more vulnerable to cyclone disasters than others in India. So we will also study the disasters, okay, not only cyclone, okay, not only cyclone, but we will also study the disasters in India. So most of these cyclones are very destructive due to high wind velocity and torrential rain that accompanies it. All right. So three elements can do it on come nai. Strong winds, quell, torrential rains, and influent flooding, storm surge. Na it on do correlate come nai there. But you need to know the management of cyclones. Okay, how to manage the cyclones now? So there are many. This is like management of cyclones in a way. In other words, it is way forward them. So there are many structural and non-structural measures for effective disaster management of cyclones. The structure measures include construction of cyclone shelters, construction of cyclone-resistant buildings, road links, culverts, bridges, canals, drains, saline embankments, surface water tanks, communication, and water transmission networks. Okay, and non-structural measures like early warning dissemination systems, management of coastal zones, awareness generation and disaster risk management, and the capacity building of all the stakeholders involved. Now, so these measures are being adopted and tackled on a state-to-state basis under the National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project and CRMP being implemented through World Bank assistance. Okay, so there are many initiatives. Okay, there are many initiatives taken up by the government, which is not mentioned here, but you need to know what are the measures taken up by the government to mitigate mitigate the management of cyclones problem. All right. So this is the western disturbances all of bases. So western disturbances, as we have studied yesterday, that western disturbances is also a cyclone. No. All right. So do you have any question with regard to tropical cyclones? Did you learn anything or not?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So do you have any question with regard to tropical cyclones? Huh?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. So we will study the extra tropical cyclones. Okay, extra tropical cyclones. We'll just study a map and we're done with it. Okay, we'll just study a map. So right. No, it doesn't. So this is the equator. What is the degree of equator?
0.
All right. So this is the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. All right. So here it is 25, 23.5, or don't get confused with 23.5 or 1 by 2. Okay, so 23.5 means 23.5 degree north. Okay, this is north, and 23.5 degree south. All right, ito di kita ba dun and arrow south bi likyo pauri jai. So we have to make a difference by writing whether it is north or it is south. Okay, and this area is called the subtropical region. Okay, subtropical region. This area is known as the subtropical region. All right. So here is the Hadley cells. 이도 cell 되겠나 전에나? Do you know or not?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, so this is this area there. This area is known as the Ferrel cell, okay? And this area is known as the what cell?
Polar.
Yeah, polar cell, okay? So in this area of the polar cell, the cyclones do not occur, but between the Ferrel cell and the Hadley cell, okay? So in this area, okay, in this area, the extratropical cyclones occurs, okay? So in this area, all right, one of the force which also affect the extratropical cyclones is the jet stream. Now, jet stream, I said. So yesterday I have shown you about the diagrams of the jet stream, na? As you can see, jet stream do not occur in the tropical cyclones or subtropical in the equator holiday. Most often it occurs in the subtropical jet stream and polar jet stream. And this polar jet stream, okay, as you can see here, in middle the hinai, holiday jet stream mostly occurs in the subtropical and the polar stream. Hence, they are known as subtropical and jet stream, subtropical jet stream and polar jet stream. And these two polar jet stream and this subtropical jet stream, they affect the flow of wind. None way. They affect the flow of wind pattern, as they also cause extratropical cyclones. Itu as it is. So the formation it will be same as a traveling of wind direction from cool air to warm air direction. Na itu formation kan pura same as a there. So this is the extratropical cyclones or mid latitude cyclones. Now yes, before we have studied that extratropical cyclones is also known by many other names. Na itambi janine tayo lagi. As you can see, we'll study here again the extratropical cyclones there. So can you see here, extratropical cyclones is also known as temperate cyclones, or mid-latitude cyclones, or frontal cyclones, or wave cyclones.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So just I want you to remember that I want to I want you to remember one small thing, that is the winds always blow from high pressure to low pressure zone. Okay, so the only difference between them is that it occurs in the different place, and here the jet stream also comes into play because it also deflects the winds into different direction. And you might want to write the Hadley cells and the Ferrel cells. Okay, so these things you try to find out and make a good diagram. Okay, my diagram is not good. Okay, if I make a diagram like this, they wouldn't understand. But you make a good diagram. Okay, but always try to write this is 66 1/2 degrees south, and then this is 90 degree. Okay, so always try to write these things. And this is the equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Idano hodai likhole try koribi. Holibi don't forget about the Ferrel cells and Hadley cells when you're writing about the extra tropical cyclones, and also don't forget about the jet stream. Okay, so make sure that you have a good knowledge of the jet stream. Even yesterday we have discussed about the jet stream, the Somali jet, and all kinds of jet stream, which is also affecting climate in India. So extra tropical cyclones, do you have any question? Okay, if there is no question, then that is all about the tropical cyclones and extratropical cyclones. Okay, now as we have seen before that tropical cyclones and extratropical cyclones, it occurs disaster in India. So disaster management in a way is also important for us. Okay, so this is my notes. I have made a status on the disaster management. 20 young people died due to deadly fire at a coaching center in Surat in 2019. All right. So there are lots of disasters. Okay, there are lots of disasters. This is just what the status I have made. Okay, so then according to the NCRB, what is NCRB?
National Crime.
Yeah, National Crime Record data. According to the National Crime Record data, 2,000 people died in fire-related accident in 2015, which is in India. Okay, which is India. National Crime Record Bureau states about the India only. Of course, sometimes it also states about the international status, but because that is only for comparative study. All right. So this is the vulnerability profile of India. See, 59% of the landmass is prone to earthquake. Then 12% of the land is prone to floods and river erosion. 6,500 kilometer out of 7,516 kilometer long coastline is prone to cyclone and tsunamis. Nah, itu saya there. Then 68% of its cultivable area is vulnerable to drought. Then hilly areas are at risk from landslide and avalanches. So disaster risks in India are further compounded by increasing vulnerabilities related to changing demographics and socio-economic conditions, unplanned urbanization, development within high-risk zone, environmental degradation, climate change, geological hazards, epidemics, and pandemics. Now, so as you can see, the status, no, the status as a then the vulnerability reports of India. Now, all these reports, it's important for your exam, okay? Because just when you're writing about the disaster management and disaster in India, without these data, without these data, your answer wouldn't get a good marks, okay? But with these data, you can always supplement your answer with these data and give your opinion. When you say something, when you give your opinion with facts, figures, and data, now it always makes sense. All right. Now, what are the causes of the disaster in India? Environmental degradation, development process, political issues, war, now explosions, Syrian civil war. Now, so civil war sometimes it is also a disaster because there is a lot of destruction because of the war. Now, then industrialization impact, huge economic loss, food and water scarcity, displacement of people. Now, challenges to the insufficient level of implementation, lack of local capacities, absence of integration in climate change into disaster risk management plan, and primary responsibility rests with the center. All right. So even in Nagaland, okay, we have the Nagaland State Disaster Management, okay, but all the funds are routed from the center. We do not have a separate disaster, a state disaster kinakuwo department. Okay, we do not have a separate state disaster department. All the disaster officers, okay, they are called DPA, district planning officer. Okay, so they are called DPA, and DPS are directly appointed by the center. All right, it's not even appointed by the state government, of course. The appointees are all Nagas, but they are being appointed by the center. All right, so disaster though, as you can see here, primary responsibility rests with the center because such kind of disasters, now it's a big disaster and involves a lot of cost. Okay, so the state it may not be in a position to bear the responsibility. Also, the big disasters do not only affect one state but also affect several states. Now, so the primary responsibility is with the center. Okay. Now, disaster in India. Now, Kashmir flood 2014, fear 500 dead. Then Uttarakhand flash floods 2013, 500 dead. Then Gujarat earthquake 2001, 2000 dead. Okay. Then the Bhopal tragedy of 1984, 5.5 lakh affected. So the Bhopal case tragedy laga, this question was also repeated many times. So what was the case? What was the case that affected Bhopal case tragedy? What was the name of the case?
I'm not
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Maybe
Methyl
methyl isocyanate.
Yeah, methyl isocyanate na case kwa.
Yes.
Methyl isocyanate.
Yeah. So itu question me bishi hudi shide. So these are the examples of Bhopal gas tragedy na 5.5 lakhs affected. So there were many legal implications involved here. So these are like Kashmir flood as a Uttarakhand flood as a Gujarat earthquake as a then Bhopal gas tragedy, fire accidents. So there are many incidents that occurred in India, and then it has caused a lot of economic loss as well as public lives lost. Na. So when you make a notes, not make a notes in such a way that you have all the data, facts, figures, and data in your notes, so that you use it to supplement your opinion. Okay, because GS paper 2 essay it's all about giving your opinion, not directly writing a question. And especially as you see the changing pattern of the NPC, it is changing from factual to conceptual. Okay, factual to conceptual. So be very careful. Okay, so this is about India. Nah? This is about India, but there is also an international organization on disaster. All right. So we have the World Conference of Natural Disaster Reduction Yokohama Strategy in 1984. Then Hyogo Framework for Action 10 years plan 2005 to 2015. Sendai Framework we will study in detail. Okay, sometimes the Sendai Framework it was once asked for 10 marks there. What is Sendai Framework? No? So as of now, the whole international community and the national community is under the Sendai framework when it comes to disaster management. So Sendai framework is very important. Then the disaster management also comes under SDG, Paris Climate Agreement, NDMA and Disaster Management Act 2005. Have you come across this NDMA Act 2005 or not? National Disaster Management Authority Act 2005?
Mm.
Huh? Did you study this one or not? NDMA Act 2005.
No, sir.
Okay, so see, legislative measures taken up by the government to regulate or as a mitigation measures. NDMA Act 2005 is also one of the mitigation measures. Okay, so it important I say. Now the National Disaster Management Plan 2016. Okay, these two act. Okay, National Disaster Management Act 2005 and the National Disaster Management Plan 2016 are two very important things when it comes to the disaster management. Okay, so disaster management you need to make a lot of a good notes, okay. A good note. I have only 2 pages of notes for all disaster management. To me, I think it's a complete note, okay. So here, disaster management it doesn't only come for GS paper 2, but also comes for it was there, essay, no? So it's very important. Now we have the SDMA Act, okay, State Disaster Management Act. It's same as National Disaster Management Act 2005. Then district DMA, okay. So in the state, it is headed by Chief Minister. In the district, it is headed by the Deputy Commissioner. All right. So these are the government initiatives. It is as government initiatives of India. Okay, it is a signatory to Sendai Framework, participating country in the international strategy for disaster management. Primary responsibility with state earthquake disaster risk indexing index with I guess. So you might want to know the rank of India. National School Safety Program. So this one, okay, National School Safety Program here, the state disaster we have the state SDRF, okay, State Disaster Response Force, okay. So these days they are traveling in the different districts to conduct mock drill in the village, okay, disaster mock drill in the village, in the schools. Now even here in Shamator, they came yesterday, okay, the SDRF, they came yesterday to conduct mock drills in the school, but the schools have not resumed yet, okay. None of the schools have resumed yet. The schools that have resumed is conducting class 10 and class 12 model exams. So we are not able to conduct mock drills in the schools, but we have shifted to some villages where we are planning to conduct mock drills today in the Wafra village. Okay, so National School Safety Program there, the SDRF plays a very important role by giving a mock drills. Okay, so that is one of the appropriate example you can use where the SDRF goes to different district. Now you can always cite Shamato district. Okay, it doesn't. Then the Adbatami Mitra scheme, okay, there is a scheme for training of 6,000 community volunteers. They are called master volunteers, okay. And National Crisis Management Committee and Crisis Management Group, deployment of mobile radiation reduction system to handle radiological hazards. Now, then the success stories are here, as you can see, the zero casualties policy and pinpoint accuracy of IMD early warning system has helped reduce the possibility of deaths from cyclone from Odisha. Okay, cyclone famine in Odisha. Then Ladakh floods, army immediately search, rescue, and relief. Zero was affected. Then issues, okay, gaps in preparedness. Emergency operations center needs to be strengthened, not people oriented. Any region lack of secure infrastructure and building, including Kohima. Now, what are the suggestions or way forward? Clear demarcation system, center and state, accountability mechanism. PPP. What is PPP?
Public-private partnership.
Okay, so one such example of public-private partnership is this Surat Climate Change Trust. Okay, so I have also made a note on Surat Climate Change Trust with regard to PPP, because PPP do not only help you in the disaster, but also helps you in when you write about the environment, because nowadays public-private partnership is becoming very important now. As only in Nagaland, okay, only in Nagaland. Otherwise, in all the other states besides Nagaland, a lot of majority of the road construction is under PPP, okay. So Surat, even Indore, okay, even Indore is one of the cleanest city for 10 times in a year, 10 times in a row now because of the PPP mode, okay. So everything is done in according to the PPP mode, okay. So here, PPP mode, not only in the disaster management, but also in the climate, in the environment, in the education, everything when it comes to PPP, it is solving a lot of problems. No? So PPP, when you're writing about the economy, when you're writing about the education, no? There is a lot of examples where government and the public have entered in a partnership and they have developed a good system. Okay, so one good system that is mitigating disaster risk in India is also the Surat Climate Change Trust. Okay, it is a hand between the Surat Climate Change Trust with the government, and together they are mitigating a lot of climate change. I mean, a lot of disaster management. Okay, so this is all about the disaster now. So, did you get anything with regard to disaster management notes? All up to Jani Lushna, right?
Yes.
Sir.
All right, so I will show you a few of my notes, okay? A few of my notes which are important for geography, nah? Itu kita batu na itu bi huji tagi de itu deep ecology na you make a notes on deep ecology kita batu itu bi huji tagi. All right, deep ecology. So what is deep ecology? Environmental philosophy and social movement based on the belief that humans must radically change their relationship to nature from one that values nature for its usefulness to human beings to one that recognizes nature that has an inherent value. Okay, nature has an inherent value. So yesterday we have discussed why is India called a subcontinent? Because don't start your answer with because. Okay, I've just wrote like this, but never start your answer with because. It's very bad. All right, so India is a subcontinent because it covers an expansive area of land that includes the Himalayan region in the north, the Gangetic Plain, as well as the Plateau region in the south, and the India, Bhutan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan is a part of the Indian subcontinent. Okay, all these were part of Indian subcontinent before. All right, so this is the short explanation why India is called a subcontinent. Then this question has been repeated many times. So you might want to know why India is called a subcontinent. Whenever they ask questions on geography, they mostly ask for this one. Then this question is also asked once or twice. Now, so why are peninsular river not navigable? Okay, now peninsula. Or can you cite one or two example of peninsular river? Anyone?
Godavari.
Huh?
Godavari.
Yeah, Godavari, very good. So example, Godavari, Iniga Lake, always try to write example. I will show you the one good answers written by our students, all right? So seasonal rivers now, which remain dried up in the summer. Riverbeds are uneven, rocky, and have steps creating construction of dams, okay? Moido hodai ito han pauri thage tura, moido notsi banalise, okay? And then this algal bumbi hodai hudi thage de, if you go through the PYQs, you will come across the question algal boom, okay? So rapid increase or accumulation of the population of algae in freshwater or marine water system is called algal bloom, all right? And then this what is estuaries, all right? Estuaries, so two bodies of water where river meets the sea, estuaries form a transition zone between river and maritime coast. Nah, it was an estuaries to transition zone between river and maritime coast. Now, why do peninsular river do not form delta? Okay, so the shape of Western Ghats is steep and have a rapid flow. They don't travel much distance to drain into the sea. As a result, they don't carry much sediments required to form delta. Okay, here is the algal bloom effect. Algal toxic algae toxins that contaminated water. These toxins move up the food chain, causing illness for fish and humans. Okay, so these are the few important forgettable notes. Now, when I forget good, I get notes. So try to make a lot of notes with regard to the with even regard to what is this? Cyclones, tropical cyclones, extratropical cyclones, western disturbances. It on to geography. Actually, it's just manageable. Okay, so like I studied just day before yesterday with regard to itu seafloor spreading convectional theory. You try to make a note on those things, make in such a way that it's easy for you. Indian Ocean dipole, southern oscillation, northern oscillation. It all of Chinese means it should be easy for you, okay? But make sure that you study class 6 to 10 and set books, okay? Those things you'll get to know the basic understanding, all right? So with this, we'll wind up our class for my class. I think tomorrow Session will take another Nagaland class, okay? Nagaland class. So Nagaland class may be the last class of your foundation mains course. And if you have any doubt, you can reach out to me. Do you have any question? Any question, guys? This will be the last class of my class. So, if you have any doubt, any queries with regard to mains, then we can always discuss.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
I have a question, please. Can
Yeah.
you kindly, like, from your experience, like, can you kindly say something about the district planning development board in Nagaland context? I mean,
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that is very important. Very good. So, this is the district planning development board. Okay. So the first thing we need to know is the structure of, we call it DPDB. The DPDB. So the chairman used to be in Somatoro. We have only one MLA, so he is by default the chairman. Okay. MLA or MLA of a local district is a chairman. Okay, so in some districts like Mokokchung, they have around 10 MLAs. So it depends on them. Okay, it depends on them who would be the chairman of the DPDB. All right. So, but for Sumatra, we have only one MLA. Hence, he is the chairman by default. Then the vice chairman is the DC. Is the vice chairman. Okay. So after the DC, there is a chronological order. Now we have a hierarchy. No, in a government service, we have a hierarchy.
yes, sir.
Yeah. So even a few days back, we have asked you a question on the hierarchy. Okay. So many people couldn't answer in the right way with regard to hierarchy. Now, but when you write about something about the hierarchy, now you can always try to try a map like this. For example, example hierarchy is the top one is the DC, then the ADC, then EC. Okay. One guy wrote like this, and it's one of the best answer I have seen. Okay. So very simplistically, she has written about this hierarchy. Okay, so this is a chain of command where the DC commands the ADC, and he also supervises the ADC. Then the ADC commands and supervises the ESC. No, that is the chain of command. So the chain of command is one of the component of the hierarchy. No? So example in Nigambe drug recent. It was very good. Okay, very simple but very good. So I gave him 2 marks. Now it was a so hierarchy be as part of public administration applian jani there. So here after the DC, the ADC will come, members, okay, members. Then the SDO will come. After that, ESC will come, and after that, after the ESC, SP will come. Okay. So in the other department, okay, other department, which is the police now, there will be only one member from other department. SP is the only member from other department. Okay, not the SDPO or additional SP now, but only SP. But all the administrative officers are a part of the DPTV members. All right, it was a so chairman to MLA. Okay, one MLA from the district. Then, for example, SP after that, after the SP, will have the DO, district agriculture officer, na member. So all the HODs, so to say, all the HODs there. All the HODs are the member of the district planning board, and the chairman can also invite, okay, the chairman can also invite important personalities or personalities which he thinks is good for that district, okay. So invite this with Takiwo. So this is the a simple structure of DPDB there. So the chairman is by MLA, DC by led by the administration, the SP, the DO, or all the HODs. So this is the structure of DPDB. Now functions of DPDB there. Functions of DPDB. So all the developmental activities taking in the undertaking in the district are discussed in the DPDB. It was a, and then all the proposals, okay, all the proposals, whether development or anything, are taken up in the DPDB and forward it to the higher authority. It was a, then all the societies, okay, all the societies registration is approved by the DPDB. So here, all the important activities, okay, all the important activities are also discussed here. For example, the important activities like any activities, okay, any important activities here we also discuss here in the DPDB group. All right. So all the proposals, it's like the mini secretariat where we discuss, we debate, and we send proposals to the department. Okay, we send the proposals to the concerned department. For example, if it is to do with agriculture, we send proposals to the agriculture director of agriculture department. For example, if it is what is this? For example, if it is a land issue, then we also send to the land revenue directorate. Korea. So this is the short overview of the structure of the DPDB and functions of the DPDB. Yeah. So the DPDB is held every month. The DPDB is held every month. Yeah, and then for post creation, okay, it also discusses for post creation. For example, we do not have the executive engineer here. Okay, the Samatar district do not have an executive engineer here. So to have an executive engineer here, it has to go through the proposals has to go through the DPDB. Okay, so I have written here all the proposals are taken up in the DPDB and forward it to the higher authority for necessary action.
All right, sir.
So who does the recording?
Yeah, so did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any more question?
So follow-up question, like who does the recording?
DPO, District Planning Officer.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. So actually, see, in reality, DPO, we do not have a DPO here in Samator being the new district now. The DPO should be here, but it is being looked after by the Tuinsang DPO. Okay. But the Tuinsang DPO do not come to the DPTP, hence I record. Okay, I record the recordings, meeting minutes and everything. Yeah. Any more question with regard to the mains exam or anything? All right. So, what's the classes on geography helpful or not for your mains preparation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay,
Yeah,
so
thank you so much.
guys, yeah, this will be my last class on the mains course, and I wish you all the best. The exam is, I think, has the routine came out for your mains exam?
Not yet,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, so most probably it will be in the last week of the March. So I wish you all the best, and then we'll keep guiding you for your answer writing, daily writing practices, and during your mock test programs. If you need any guidance or any help, you kindly feel free to reach out to me. But if in that case, if you do not reach out to me, I wish you all the best, and then we'll meet you for your interview preparation. All right. So thank you so much for your cooperation and everything. I'm so grateful to be a part of your journey. All right. So God bless you all, and I wish you all the best. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir.